Well, Kermit here. The Orange Pickle 2. In case anybody's wondering, the little green Toyota Sienna is in a repair shop. The transfer case blew up on my way back from getting it registered, and it is in a shop. I have a $1,800 remanufactured, 18 months of warranty transfer case sitting in the shop, and I'm waiting for it to be installed. It's a no hurry install, and it's going to cost me another $2,000 in labor. End of that story. Improvements, new and used. The green F-150 that I welded that brack on has a strobe light on it, and it has a spare tire mount and a spare tire that I ordered the rim for off of Amazon. The trailer took on a 2,000-mile trip to El Paso, Texas and back. Believe it or not, that door has actually got cleared completely off due to the vibrations on the road. I had lights here and here, similar to these two. The wiring to that got broken. I replaced those with external lights that are round, in addition to my original lights there, and another one over here. In that regard, the trailer's in pretty good shape. Now, I don't know if I ever showed you pictures of the F-250 that I paid $800 for. He gave me a fit. I said I would buy it if it started. Well, it started, but it's running on like 6 cylinders. Has 168,000 miles on it, according to the odometer. One of the spark plug wires was being hit by the fan because it was in the wrong place. But my biggest peeve at the time was the alternator was not charging. After doing much online research, I learned that if the battery indicator light in this truck, these Ford vehicles, is not functioning, then you can see I have the dash practically completely torn apart. Right in here, let me find my keys and turn this on. You see that battery light right there? Try and put it in the shade. Yes, you can. After tearing the dash all apart, I found out the battery was good. Second problem. Why is there no voltage going to the battery light? Without the battery light coming on, there will be no voltage going to the field windings and the exciter on the alternator. Pardon me. Well, it turns out, shove the headlight switch out of the way, that this fuse right here, I put a 15 amp in there, was missing. Now, with that fuse installed, strange things are happening. Before I installed that fuse, every time you open the door, it would go ding, 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 and stop when you put the key in the ignition. But now, I do have a working alternator. So my next steps are going to be getting new spark plug wires for it, giving it an oil change, install new spark plug wires, and hopefully that will cure the problem of it running very rough. And it does seem to be blowing a little bit of smoke out the exhaust, and hopefully new spark plugs will correct that problem. One nice thing about this truck is it does have a gooseneck hitch. It came with it. A carpet for lying down underneath of the vehicle. As you can see, we got a rough yard out here. Well, I stuck one of my trailer hitches in the back end of this thing. I got to get a new one of these installed in here. That's for the gooseneck and or the trailer lighting and brake devices. I'm probably going to have to get a new one of those, which is right here for that controller. For your trailer brakes. That thing didn't go anywhere. Here's the bracket for it. And for some reason they decided they would mount this thing where the, oh heck, I can't find the dang thing. Oh, I had to take it off. The connection for the computer OSB reading. I had to put a new ignition switch in it, which is right there, because the old one was so tired and worn out and so stiff, you practically broke your hand trying to get it to start. This afternoon I'll put this back together. Now, I'm going to work out with a friend of mine who's bought the Sienna from, and this one from, was a junkyard. They were abandoned vehicles. I've been working on his rollback trailer at Garcia's Auto Salvage here in Wells, Nevada. And I said, in exchange for doing all the work on your rollback, which basically I rewired the entire back section of the vehicle, put lights on the new lights on the rollback ramp itself. I got the fuel gauge working. I put new emergency brake cables in the vehicle because they were all frozen and didn't work. What else did we get done? Check the front brakes. Those were new. The rear brake pads themselves were new. Drums were in fairly good shape. Fuel tank. Fuel gauge I got working. Had two of them in there. They were conflicting with each other. So I took the one out that was installed on the new fuel pump and was not being used. And the one that is being used is an external gauge from the dash. So I said, Billy, in exchange for all my work that I've been doing, I want this. There's also an F-250, 1986 model. Four-wheel drive. It needs a bit of work. As soon as I find that plunger, and I got to put it in my, press down on this thing with my